I know that if I have like the all the junk food and the sugary sweets and all the stuff I shouldn't be eating in my cabinet and in my fridge, I'm going to eat that shit. I'm going to eat that stuff till I'm sick and I feel like throwing up. Yo, Warriors of Light, what's cracking? Thank you for joining me once again. Before we get into the video, I would like to point out that my voice may be cracking. My voice may give out. If it doesn't, great, but your boy went out dancing last night and things were a lot of fun, but there was also a lot of yelling and a lot of talking way up here. So my vocal cords definitely took the grunt of that, but it's okay. We're going to rock with it anyways because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because as many of you know, I do have my own coaching business and I've been working on self-discipline for quite some time now. As you can see with my frequency of releasing videos, I'm not the best at it, but here I am. So we're making something happen at least. Why do I think that motivation and willpower are trash? A lot of people will say like, oh, you don't believe in motivation. And it's not that I don't believe in motivation. I believe that it can be a tool in a sense, but a lot of us become dependent on it. Just like we become dependent on any external source of stimulation. Motivation at the end of the day is just a temporary thing. It's almost coupled with this emotion, this like mental masturbation of us wanting to accomplish something. But the problem is that it's an external source of stimulus. And that only gets you so far. I get that when you're first starting out with the discipline and you're first starting out with a new hobby or whatever it may be, that motivation could be a nice tool to kind of give you a little boost, give you a little push forward to get yourself started. But here's the problem. It's not going to take you very far. How often do we try to get motivated when we don't want to do something and it doesn't work? And that's the problem. That's the problem with motivation, is that when you don't want to do something, it's virtually useless. It only moves you when you want it to. But what about the times when you don't want to do something, when you don't want to get up and clean your house, when you don't want to work, when you don't want to cook or do other things that are beneficial for you? That's where the surrender comes in. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about willpower because a lot of the times willpower is coupled with motivation. When we're motivated, we're kind of forcefully willing ourselves to do something through that external stimulus, which is cool. You know, it does get some work done, but internal drive, internal drive will always be king. Your willpower is, let's be real, guys. Our willpower is very weak. At least I know for myself, my willpower sucks. I cannot, most of the time, if I don't want to do something and I try to use my will to force myself, I try to use my will to make myself do something, it doesn't really happen. And if it does happen, it's very half-assed, it's very short-lived, and my work speaks for itself. When you don't want to do something, your quality of work goes down tremendously. Knowing that I myself am very weak-willed, and most people themselves are very weak-willed, I don't know. I wouldn't say most people. I would say a lot of people. Those who were raised properly, should I say, those who had a good base of willpower instilled into them as they were growing up, evolutionarily speaking, they do have the upper hand. Because some people just have more willpower than others. But I would say a lot of people are prone to things like laziness, prone to things like codependency, prone to addiction, prone to victimizing themselves. So all these things that are coupled with a weak will, such as myself, I went through this so much. I would always try to force myself to do something, not wanting to do it and not actually progressing forward. And this, my friends, is where surrender comes in. What is surrender? What do I mean by surrender? Do I mean just like say F it, F it and give up on life? No. Do I mean that you're giving up control and you're allowing something else to dictate your actions? No and yes. So at its core, surrender just means to stop fighting. Surrender just means to stop trying to will yourself and force yourself to do something and just let go. Become the process, become the thing you're trying to accomplish. It may seem like really woo stuff at first, but hear me out. When you give up and you stop fighting, that's when you realize like, okay, I may need to ask for help, or I may need to humble myself and learn more about whatever I'm trying to accomplish, or I shouldn't say I need to, that makes it seem forced already. See how the programming is instilled, and see how even somebody like myself needs to, wow. See how somebody like myself is going to become better at programming myself. In allowing yourself to become part of the process, it is not so much that you're obligated anymore, or you're needing to do something, or you have to do something. It's more so like, I'm going to do this because I know it's beneficial for me. So rather than looking at how something is going to affect you temporarily, you begin to widen your perspective and you become a more bigger picture oriented individual through that situation. So that comes with having to finesse yourself sometimes. I mean, honestly, do you guys really think that I get these videos done in the first take? Sometimes it takes me upwards of 5 to 6 takes. Sometimes I don't have the ball rolling and it seems very forced, and I have this uppity energy and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this video and I'm so motivated because I want to help all these people, and it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And I have to remind myself that it's not about me anymore, but I am becoming what I am doing. Most of the time when we do stuff, it's very forced and we don't allow ourselves to surrender to the process, and we become fixated on this mental masturbation of the result. And once the result is there, there's nothing more past that. So it's not even about where you're getting to. It's about who you're becoming in the process. So you're surrendering to the act itself. You are now an all-seeing, all-knowing consciousness that is making this said thing happen, rather than Artem, or rather than whoever you are as an individual. It may seem like really woo-woo stuff, but once you practice this long enough, you realize that, man, I really am a culmination of all my disciplines, and I'm a culmination of everything I've accomplished and everything that I'm doing. So yeah, it's me doing it, but there's something else. There's some sort of higher power, should I say, or higher force, or the universe, or something that is working through me to get this thing accomplished. And once you get the ball rolling, it's a really beautiful thing. But this is why you have to finesse yourself. You have to kind of trick yourself in a way. So me, as somebody who is like very weak-willed, someone like myself who is not very motivated and doesn't have a lot of willpower, I have to finesse myself, meaning set myself up for success. For example, on my bathroom door, I have a sign that says smile in Russian. It says улыбнись. And I make sure that when I wake up and I walk out of my room, that's the first thing I see in the morning. So if I do inherently have a bad morning and I look at that and I force myself to smile, it makes my day better. So things like that, to where you have to finesse yourself and set yourself up for success, because you know that some things are going to be hard. And again, some people are more capable of willing themselves through certain situations, but someone like myself, I have to finesse myself. So I know that if I have like all the junk food and the sugary sweets and all the stuff I shouldn't be eating in my cabinet and in my fridge, I'm going to eat that shit. I'm going to eat that stuff till I'm sick and I feel like throwing up. So I have to finesse myself by not buying it. And this is where the discipline comes in. This is why discipline is such an amazing thing. And having discipline in your life will truly change who you become as a person, because not only are you concentrating your energy and focusing into this one thing, making something happen through the process and through something else working through you, but the results just come so easy. The results come so effortless when you're disciplined. Now that you're becoming the process and you're becoming your journey, the results don't matter. So when we don't have this mental masturbation, when we don't have this fixation on getting results and trying to show something for our efforts, then it just comes so naturally. It feels like it's second nature at that point. But just like anything else, it takes practice. Discipline takes a lot of practice. And whenever people look at me and they say, wow, you're so disciplined, like you're working out all the time, you're eating so healthy, like I want to be like you. That's honestly very humbling to me, because I never used to be like that. I always used to only do stuff when I felt like doing it. And that's the problem. We become so fixated on emotions and become so fixated on the temporary and fixated on instant gratification. When you're focused on longevity and you're focused on becoming the person you want to become, you're not fixated on results, and you put your focus on delayed gratification, delayed reward, then everything becomes effortless and everything goes swimmingly. So key points to this video is that motivation doesn't really get you too far, because it's an external stimulus. It's very temporary, and things only happen when you want them to. Willpower is not very strong in a lot of people. Willpower is very forced, and it makes you feel very obligated. Surrender is key. Surrendering to the process and surrendering to a higher power, a higher force, something else that is moving through you, using your vessel like a tool, is key. And discipline. You have to have discipline. Discipline is the only driver to get you out of addiction, out of codependency, out of feeling sorry for yourself, out of the mental masturbation of the results. So surrender and discipline over motivation and willpower. That's really the key. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me know your thoughts down below. I love hearing your feedback. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. If you have any ideas on future subjects that you would like me to cover, please give them to me. I would love to speak on things that affect you directly, because I want this to be more than just an educational video. I want to connect with you guys. I want this to become a community. And yeah, thank you all for your continued support. Sayonara. Catch you next time. Warriors of Light, what's cracking? Thank you once again. This is why you put your phone on airplane mode, because now grandma is calling. Алло, бабуля.
Привет, Тёмочка, как дела у тебя?
У меня все прекрасно. Что слышно?
Вот не хочешь ко мне зайти?
Да, я могу попозже заехать.
А попозже, Тёмочка, давай сегодня отдыхай, потому что я к Лоре поеду.
Окей, ну хорошо.
Давай, как у тебя здоровье, как дела?
Все прекрасно в Боре, все замечательно.
Я тебя зову, и сегодня я тебе даю отдыхать, хорошо?
Хорошо,
Давай.
давай.